When these homes were built, they were worth millions and represented grandeur and wealth. The homes presented in this video now lie empty in disrepair, open to the elements and taken over by nature. From a villa that's been sitting empty for 70 years on an island in upstate New York to the extravagant wastelands that billionaires roam. Before starting, don't forget to subscribe to Trending Tenz and click the notification button for weekly top 10 updates. Let's check out the shocking stories of these top 10 unbelievable abandoned millionaire mansions once owned by the super rich. Number 10. The Los Feliz Murder Mansion. Dr. Harold Perelson was a successful doctor with a wife and 3 children when he moved into a Spanish-style mansion in the sought-after Los Feliz neighborhood in Los Angeles. However, on the night of December 6, 1959 at 4:30 a.m., Dr. Harold Perelson murdered his wife in her sleep and attempted to murder his 3 children before drinking acid to kill himself. Fortunately, his eldest daughter screamed after the first blow, loud enough waking up the 2 younger children, who then walked into the room to see the action, then immediately ran away to alert the neighbors. The police found the 2 younger children waiting unharmed in the lobby and the doctor lying dead beside his blood-soaked wife. Other creepy details include a passage of Dante's Divine Comedy left open on his bedside table. 2 years later, it was sold to a couple who used it as a storage unit, and the son inherited it, then sold it in 2016 to a couple who had plans to fix it up. But it seems to have scared them off because within a few years it was back on the market. Number 9. The HAVELIS of India. In the region of Shekhawati, the northeast part of Rajasthan, India, is famous for the rows of abandoned mansions. These Indian billionaire homes started building at the beginning of the 19th century. The HAVELIS thrived until the 20th century, then the rich business tycoons living there left for better opportunities. With the trade moving elsewhere, development stopped and the artwood-covered marvels were abandoned for good. The HAVELIS were all built similar, spread over 2 floors and often have 4 courtyards, 2 reserved for socializing and the other 2 reserved for cooking in animal stables. The entrances are made up of lavishly carved wood with mirror work and detailed paintings running throughout. These mansions are decorated with frescoes so elegant that they become tourist attractions. Number 8. Liu Family Mansion. Also known as the Minjong Ghost House, the Liu Family Mansion is a freaky place with a heartbreaking history. Located in Taiwan, it has been abandoned since the 1950s when the wealthy family fled abruptly. The vines and branches have overtaken the once luxurious home. Local legend has it that the family's maid was having an affair with her employee, Liu Rongyu, and when the secret became public, the maid was consumed by shame and jumped down a well. Some claim that the family fled after a ghost of the maid came back every night to haunt them. A few years later, the property was occupied by members of the Chinese political party, Kuomintang, who fled to Taiwan to escape with security. Many were said to have taken their own lives at this property, adding to the spooky reputation. Number 7. Villa dei Vecchi. Known as the House of Witches, the imposing Villa dei Vecchi near Lake Como dates back to 1854-1857. It was built as a summer house for Count Felix de Vecchi and his family. This stunning villa boasted priceless wall fresco and 13,000 acres of land. Their lives were mirrored in tragedy starting the build of this villa. First, the architect died a year after construction. Then, in 1862, Count de Vecchi came home to discover his wife brutally murdered and his daughter missing. He spent a year looking for her, and then in despair, he took his own life. His brother lived in the house until the First World War, but then it was left empty. In 2002, An avalanche wiped out all the houses in this area, except this villa. Number 6. GENSHIRO KAWAMOTO'S abandoned mansion. This mansion in Japan belonged to billionaire Japanese businessman GENSHIRO KAWAMOTO. In 2013, he was arrested for tax evasion, leaving his ultra mansion to decay. The property tycoon has left hundreds of his marble and bronze statues around his home. The stairs were once lined with plush red carpet. Today, they are littered with dirt, maybe from his sudden departure. The large dining area almost doesn't look abandoned. The shiny marble floors, statues, and gold chandeliers, and the half-full whiskey bottle on the dining room table makes it seem as if time stood still. The mansion has panoramic views of the ocean and beyond. The bedroom is the most luxurious space. A mattress sits on top of the red fabric platform, while the chandeliers have crashed through the floor. It's hard to accept that these incredible properties are standing empty. Number 5. Abercrombie's Castle. This crumbling castle is in New York and was designed and built by David Abercrombie, founder of Abercrombie & Fitch. Built in 1929, he named it Elder Castle using the first letter of his 4 children's names in birth order. After David's death in 1931, the home was left to the rest of the family until it was sold in the early 1940s. After the Second World War, the building was empty for more than a decade and has since had several owners, with none of them taking the time to restore the castle to its former glory. The family home has 50 acres of land and features 25 rooms over 2 stories, including several arched doorways, windows, curved stone and iron circular staircases, and vaulted masonry porches. The good news is that it was sold in 2019 for $3.2 million US. Number 4. BANNERMAN'S Castle. BANNERMAN'S Castle is located on an island in New York's Hudson River. Francis Bannerman VI, whose family launched a military surplus business post-Civil War, purchased the island in 1900 to use as a warehouse for storage of his military surplus business. Respecting his Scottish heritage, Bannerman wanted his warehouse to resemble a castle, built by day laborers and without architects, engineers, contracts, or blueprints. The castle was designed by Bannerman himself, sketched on a scrap piece of paper he had on hand. He also built a smaller residential structure nearby, but construction ended with his death in 1918 and a massive explosion damaged the castle in 1920. Decades of decline, plus a huge fire in 1969 left the structure in ruins by the 1990s. Other than the 6 supports holding the structure, there are currently no plans to restore it. Number 3. LYNNEWOOD Hall. This spectacular masterpiece is considered one of the greatest surviving Gilded Age mansions in America. Built in 1897 and 1900 for Peter Widener, a wealthy businessman. The build cost $8 million US, which is equivalent to $210 million US in today's money. It features 110 rooms, of which 55 are bedrooms, 20 are bathrooms, and have ballrooms that can accommodate 1,000 guests. At one point, it had an art gallery that was considered one of the most important private collections in the world. When Peter Widener died in 1915, the house was left to his youngest son, Joseph, who was the last surviving heir after the eldest died on the Titanic. When Joseph died in 1943, the house was abandoned as none of his children wanted to take on the huge responsibility of the house. The spectacular house still has all the marking of luxury with marble bathrooms still intact. The now decaying swimming pool was once enclosed with squash courts and changing rooms. In 2003, LYNNEWOOD Hall was added to the list of endangered historic properties in the region. Number 2. LENNOX Castle. LENNOX Castle is located in Scotland, built in 1812 for John Lennox. The castle was home to an important Scottish family until it was converted into an asylum for the mentally ill in the 1930s and a hospital during World War II. There were reports of cruel treatments of patients beginning to leak out as the institution was built for 120, became grossly overcrowded, and conditions were described as dehumanizing. In 1956, a fight between patients turned into a full-blown riot, causing staff and inmates to flee. 8 men barricaded themselves in, setting fire to the building and significantly damaging the building. The hospital was vacated in the 1980s and officially closed in 2002. There are now plans to convert the building into flats. Number 1. Billionaire's Row. The most notorious empty mansions are those in what's known as London's Billionaire's Row. As unbelievable as it may seem, some of these mansions have been abandoned for over 25 years. Most homes were built at the end of the 1970s and have been left in varying states of decay. Empty hallways and caved-in ceilings are now common. However, it's easy to see elements of faded grandeur still in place, such as a gold banister and stained glass windows. Furniture appear unchanged, with the contents behind the locked doors having been preserved like a time warp. What was once the ultimate place to live in London has become an entire street of wasteful ruins and decaying buildings which have been said to be collectively worth $450 million US. Is there anything creepier than an empty swimming pool? Rooms have been left with hanging wires and grime at the bottom of the pool. This shows what it once could have been, a sad metaphor for this abandoned Billionaire's Row.